ignition sequence activate.
Depressurizing.
Systems are online. Welcome back, Jet.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. I'm Jet Ski Chuck, and you're in for more disturbing and mysterious footage that might just change your reality and keep you up all night. Remember, these videos are strictly for entertainment purposes only. Don't believe everything you hear or see on this video. For context, they are just theories, not facts. As you all know, it's Friday the 13th. Let's dive into some creepy and mysterious videos. Friday the 13th is a day before Valentine's Day. They should have dropped the movie today and called it Halloween. And basically, Jason just runs around getting happy couples. I would watch that. I actually have not seen Jason before, or Friday the 13th. I need to watch this tonight, you know, pop some popcorn, get you a thin crust. Sounds like a great night. But I'm kind of in a fried fish mood today. I don't know why, but I want some fried fish. I just gotta find a decent spot, man. There's people can't fry fish to save their life around me. I don't know why.
Jason was literally a special needs child who literally was bullied his entire life and was pushed into a lake and drowned by the campers that were supposed to be his fellow comrades. And the camp counselors who were supposed to be watching him weren't even watching him. Instead, they was too busy getting busy in the cabins. And all Jason was trying to do was have a good little fun camp experience. And look where it got him. Bullied and dead. So first of all, can you even blame his mom for going on a killing spree and trying to take out everybody at the camp? Then apparently Jason didn't even die, or he probably just got resurrected through the water or something. The only person who ever really cared about him, the only person he knew that actually was concerned about his well-being, he sees her get decapitated right in front of him by one of the counselors that was supposed to be watching him before he drowned. It's like, at this point, how can you people really just think that he's just this badass evil killer guy? Bro, Jason is a child, a traumatized child in a hulking, monstrous mass of a body. This is a child with massive trust issues. And he's constantly people because he thinks, oh, they're going to try me first anyway. He's still in a childlike way of thinking. So he also thinks everybody around him is just like the kids that bullied him and the camp counselors that weren't watching him and mom. So now at any sign of human presence, he just wants to annihilate you. So you'll leave him the alone. Like, bro, if y'all really still think Jason is evil, bro, I don't know what to tell you. Something's wrong with y'all, man. Y'all ain't got no type of perspective for real. Jason was literally a special needs child.
Well, dang, when you put it like that, I always say Harry Potter, man. What was the family? The Dudleys. You know, people always look at the Dudleys on Harry Potter like they was the bad guy, man. But they had to keep Harry in check. They got the most powerful wizard under their rooftop. You know, they got to keep him in line. And they loved their little boy. Did you see all them Christmas presents and how well fed he always was? You know, the Dudleys might have been the good guys. They love that baby boy.
Friday the 13th has been said to be like a bad, unlucky day. The number 13 is already unlucky in the first place. Yeah. You know, on like airplanes, they don't have number 13.
Oh, they don't?
No.
Oh, I never bagged that. I've been on so many.
Airplanes and hotels. Hotels don't have a 13th floor. Yeah. Airplanes don't have a 13th seat.
Okay.
It just goes all the way back to certain traditions. Mm-hmm. One of the biggest ones was the Knights Templar. Way back. I think it was like 1307 when the Knights Templar were a thing in France.
Okay.
Their crusade and their like conquering ended on the 13th, on the Friday the 13th.
Oh, okay.
And they said it was just like an unlucky day.
Yeah. But before continuing, I wanted to warn you guys that more and more people have reported that their phones were being spied on. To check that this does not happen, save this video, click on this icon, then on more. If you see it, delete it immediately.
Now, there's a lot of things that happen on the 13th or a Friday. That's a little bit weird too. So they put connection with, remember the apostles.
Okay, yeah.
How many apostles were there?
13.
There were 12.
Oh, there's 12?
Because the 13th was who?
Who?
Judas, that betrayed.
Oh.
So there was 12 at the supper. And when the 13th came, and he was the last to sit down, he was the one that betrayed. And when did Jesus die?
When?
On a Friday. Friday the 13th. Friday the 13th has been said to be like...
There's no way. How do they have that date? I'm gonna type it in, guys. I'm not too sure about that one. What was the date that Jesus died? Alright, according to AI Overview, it's saying Friday, April 3rd, AD 33, so I'm not too sure where he got the 13 from. But if that was true, that would be a crazy connection.
Did you know that one betrayal on a Friday created a superstition that haunts us 700 years later? For 2 centuries, the Knights Templar ruled medieval Europe as warrior monks with unmatched power. They controlled vast fortunes, fought in the Crusades, and seemed untouchable under papal protection. But King Philip IV of France owed them massive debts he could never repay. So he hatched a secret plan while pretending to be their friend. For months, sealed orders traveled across France in complete silence. Then came Friday, October 13th, 1307. At dawn, royal agents burst into every Templar stronghold simultaneously. Thousands of knights were arrested on charges of heresy and devil worship. 7 years later, Grand Master Jacques de Molay was burned alive. As flames consumed him, he cursed the French royal line. Philip died within months, exactly as predicted. In one coordinated strike, Europe's most powerful military order vanished forever. And Friday the 13th became the most feared date in history.
I don't know if it's necessarily fear. It's just when you say Friday the 13th, I immediately think of scary movies.
So today is Friday the 13th. So these are some unfun facts about Friday the 13th. It's estimated that 17 to 21 million Americans have a fear of Friday the 13th. And it manifests itself into people not flying. Some people refuse to get on a plane. Some people actually refuse to leave the house. They actually call out of work on Friday the 13th. Triskaidekaphobia. It's a fear of the number 13 and why this particular day scares the hell out of people. So many people actually change their plans and stay home. Businesses in the US lose anywhere from $800 to $900 million on this day. And the maximum number of years that Friday the 13th can actually happen in a calendar year is 3. And when it does, hundreds of millions of dollars are being lost in the economy because people are afraid of this day. It's Friday, man. Okay? Take the 13 off of it. It's just Friday. Everybody relax. You are what you think. You start thinking things are going to happen, things are going to happen. Unfun facts. So today is Friday.
I don't think I ever met one person that was literally afraid of Friday the 13th. It's more of a, I guess we're going to watch scary movies type of vibe. Not a, it's, bad out here,
Did you know that bees' wings are actually way too small to support them? And they're way too chubby to actually fly. It should be impossible for them to fly. So how do they make it above the ground? Well, they achieve an esoteric chud state because they have this empty cavity kind of in the center of their body. And when they flap their wings so fast that it creates this powerful acoustic resonance that then fills that cavity, and the resonant vibrational field matches the resonance of the field around them, which then levitates them to the level that they desire. So no, they're not flying. They're literally using acoustic levitation to float around. And did you know that bees can actually travel in a straight line? Like when they go from one flower to the next, or they're traveling and getting pollen, they can literally fly in a perfectly straight line. It doesn't matter how fast the winds are. It can be in a hurricane and the wind does not affect them because the acoustic levitation, the resonant field that they produce, literally creates the armor of God around them, like an electromagnetic bubble that protects them from the environment. Bees can literally levitate. This was for entertainment purposes only. Did you know that bees' wings are actually way too small?
Yeah, we would have to see that experiment. You know, I don't know, put a bumblebee in front of a large fan and see how he do. That would be an interesting experiment. If you're enjoying this type of content, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. It helps the channel out, and I just want to say thank you. Now let's get right back into it.
I was talking about 6G earlier, which is around 2030. I would say that by then, definitely the smartphone as we know it today will not anymore be the usual kind of the most common interface. Wow. Many of these things will be built directly into our bodies. I was talking about 6G earlier, which is around 2030. I would say that by then.
That's a no for me. No mark of the beast for me. I want to go back to the flip phones, the Razor, the sidekicks, you know? Blackberries. I do miss my sidekick.
Show you the science of actually how the cells work, and you will have more knowledge than most doctors in the world today because they still believe in the genes. You are made out of 50 trillion cells, and the cells are the living entities. So you are a community, not a single person. Every cell in your body has minus voltage on the inside and positive voltage on the outside. Every live cell is a battery. Every cell has about 1.4 volts. 50 trillion cells in the body times 1.4 volts is 700 trillion volts of electricity in your body right now.
I feel like Raydon, you know, from Mortal Kombat. How do I use it?
And with training and meditation, you can focus this energy called chi, and you can use that energy for healing. So while you see yourself as a physical entity, the new physics, you are energy waves interacting with each other right now. All animals and all plants communicate with vibration. The gazelle doesn't have to go up to the lion and say, "Are you my friend?" Because at the distance, the energy could be felt and the gazelle will not go there because of bad vibes. If we, when we were young, were taught to be sensitive to the vibrations, we would not find ourselves in bad relationships and bad places. But we are usually told not to go by our feelings, but to listen to what people have to say. Language was designed to hide feelings. The point is, all organisms communicate by vibrations and know if they're in a good place or a bad place by reading the vibrations. We humans have that ability, but are not trained to use that ability. When we see people, like if I look at the audience or you see us, we see people as physical particles and machines. But that's an illusion, because what we are interacting waves. That's why one person can affect another person just by being in the field. And today, physics studies the vibration, not the physical. In quantum physics, we don't study the particles, we study the waves. And we study how the wave interference. All of the waves together is called the field. So you're made out of atoms, but you also are the field. You are connected to everything because you can't separate waves. Now I'm going to show you how your thoughts go out and affect your life on the outside. This is an older picture of a new technology. I will show you the science.
Damn. I want the whole video. Your Body is an Illusion by Dr. Bruce Lipton. How fascinating was that video?
The easiest way to spot a demon is by asking a simple yes or no question. Demons love the confusion because it brings out the negative energy inside of you, all in order to infiltrate and sabotage your character. Their responses will always be a minimum of one paragraph, just long enough to wear out your mental stability. Similar to when people cut you off in the middle of making a good point in hopes of getting you distracted and you forgetting about the rest of your statement because they already know the argument is lost and you were making a perfect point. Also, no matter how long the response is, the answer still won't be clear. If you're not mentally drained by now, they already know you're gonna try one more time to get a clear answer because they know that you're hoping there's a misunderstanding somewhere, somehow. And at this moment, you will be gaslit about your patience, about your intelligence, and about your tone. They'll literally say anything, even if it don't make sense, all in order to place the accountability of answering the question back onto you. And if you make the wrong decision, it's now your fault in their eyes. Again, no matter how long you try to get the correct answer to avoid the wrong outcome. And these demons crazy. Anyways, I hope y'all picked up what I put down. Y'all know how I keep it. Y'all be gods. Peace.
It's almost like a battle you can't win. The way to win that battle is exorcism or holy water or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like a continuous argument. Something is off. All my sensors are going haywire.
What was that?
Unknown high energy output whirlpool closing in fast. Brace for impact electrical field increasing in proximity in T minus 5, 4, 3, 2 electrical field wiring.
Guys, yesterday we dove into some TikToks how possibly that there's a vortex spinning in the middle of the ocean somewhere. And one of you guys commented and was like, oh, there's actual Russian footage. Now that you said something, I think that I found it. So let's take a closer look at this. But first, let's go back and recap so we're all on the same page. And we're going to dive extremely deep on this one. So make sure you got your life jackets on. Make sure you keep your head on a swivel because this is Dark Waters 9.
What if I told you we may also have been lied to about why there are tides? And I'm sure you're probably thinking there's no possible reason that there'd ever be justification to lie about why the tidal currents occur. But after watching this video, I can guarantee it will start making sense. Now, according to the official academia, including McGraw-Hill, the textbooks we all studied from in school, the way the tide works, McGraw-Hill, by the way, is owned by Pergamon Press, which is called Satan's Throne in a biblical translation, and it's owned by Robert Maxwell, which is Ghislaine Maxwell's father, but we'll save that for another video. According to the official story, tides are caused by the moon's gravitational pull. Now, despite the moon having many phases, the tides are entirely consistent. Every day, there are tides coming in and out. Even if the moon is not out, if it's a full moon, or if it's a sliver toenail moon, doesn't affect, the tides are tiding no matter what. But if the moon's gravitational field is what causes tides, then how come in the Mediterranean Sea, the Black Sea, the Caspian Sea, and other massive lakes, like the Great Lakes, there are no tides? You'd think such a massive ocean would have tides, significant, similar to the big oceans, but that's not the case. Why? This is where it gets a little bit shocking. According to ancient civilizations who all believed the Earth to be quite a different shape than what NASA claims it is, there is said to be at the North Pole, which we can't go to, a gigantic mountain called Mount Meru, also known as Black Rock. It is a giant magnetic mountain, apparently.
And we're going to look at footage of that, and we're going to break this down. This is going to be a deep episode.
And there's said to be 4 rivers coming out of it. Notice also the 4 quadrants here. You have the Microsoft logo, which is also 4 quadrants. We have many corporate logos depicting 4 quadrants, perhaps in reference to this. We know they like to hide things in plain sight. But what they believed is that there is a vortex energy field at the center of the known Earth, in their mind, which pulls the water in and pushes it out, pumping like a heartbeat, using electromagnetism, and the salinity in the ocean, of course, is highly conductive. And what adds credence to this, some of the roughest oceans in the world are closest to the North Pole, where
I'm telling you, if you guys ever watch Deadliest Catch, where they're out there crab fishing, look at those vessels. Look at the type of waters that they're going through.
Yeah, we got some big seas here. but I don't think I've ever experienced a big one.
Watch out! Come on! You need to get down. You need to get down, Clay. Let's go.
Get off deck. Down. Get off deck. What do you got?
And you see everything freezes, so like you got to constantly knock that ice off so the boat weighs less. You know, those dudes work hard, but look at that. Those waves is why we're here. Could these waves be bouncing off the ice wall?
Where the source of this pulling and pushing force would be, like the Bering Sea, which is the most violent sea there is. Lastly, I will say Nikola Tesla believed gravity to be a shaky theory at best, and he believed the world ran on electromagnetism and relativity, not gravity.
This video is strictly for entertainment purposes only. Do your own research on everything. This is just theories, not factual. Now, I believe it's the Rupes Nigra, and it is what some people theorize as being black rock or even possibly Mount Zion people speak about. Take a look at this video.
Do you know what this place is? It's located in the center of the North Pole. And it's the center of the Earth's magnetic field, known as the Taurus field. That black thing in the center of the whirlwind is the tallest mountain on Earth, far more taller than the Mount Everest. It's so tall that even it keeps reaching out the clouds. It's the Rupes Nigra, or the Black Rock, also known as Mount Meru. Some people also called it Mount Zion. You wouldn't find this massive mountain existence in mainstream science and media because it's deliberately concealed. Because if the world knew that there is such a huge mountain in the center of the Earth, it would change the course of history. This includes the true nature of our world will be rewritten, and that will undo the globe-shaped Earth theory and the entire timeline of the Earth from the beginning, and they don't want that. Look how the wind stream passes through that mountain. It blocks the wind stream because of its height and size. The Rupes Nigra, or the Black Rock, described by Mercator as 33 French miles in size, or
Roughly 40 miles across
to 40 miles in diameter. It's purported.
And you gotta ask yourself, why was this not once shown to you in history class? I can't think one time that they showed this to us. Like, hey, check out this map, this ancient map, and look at this land. You know, you would think this should be in all the textbooks, wouldn't you think? Like, I can't tell you how many different images depict this. How many different illustrations, old world illustrations show this that people have found. I can probably pull up at least 40 to 50.
So do you explain why all compasses point to this location? The biggest shareholder of all the major companies in the world is BlackRock. It's named after this mountain. Do you know what this place is?
Now let's bring it all together. Now, if we take the last theory from the last TikTok and we merge it with this, could this be how those tides are going in and out? You know, because it makes you think, how much of this earth really is covered in water? You know, they say what, it's 75%? What if it like slaps like the ice wall and that's how we're getting our tides? You know, it's like that will kind of explain it. I wonder if we could do some type of experiment, some type of scientific experiment where you use a kid pool as the ice wall, and it would have to be kind of tall, like 3 feet, 4 feet. And you have to put some type of a cylindrical drain in the bottom, you know, but then how would it come back up? It would almost have to seep back up through like the land, kind of, you know. It's almost a mystery. If you take this paradigm and bring it all together, it's really a miracle. honestly, to think how we even have land in the first place with all this water around us. It's almost like someone separated the waters from the waters for us. And it makes you think about the great deep, because you know they talk about the great deep many of times. So here's a beautiful examples. If we look at how the waters are separated from the waters, and look at the great deep right under Sheol, you know, so that giant black rock would have to be protruding right in the middle, and there would have to be some type of pump. Sheol might not be this big. That might be a misrepresentation. I don't know. But I know that there's a lot more water under than what they show. And look at that serpent. You guys see that serpent under there? How crazy would it be if that's the Leviathan moving and that's what caused earthquakes? Now that's a crazy theory. Taking a good look at this enclosed ecosystem, it makes you think about that tide theory. Like, I do wonder if this is the ice wall and how far back does it go? Because I do know there's stories of how I believe someone, I don't know where I heard it, but may have looked out near the edge and it just was void, you know? So what does void look like? Like, is it pure black? And then looking at all the water brings me back to the theory with the kid pool. Like, say if there's like a giant kid pool and you put sand in it, like, just exactly how much water would you have to put inside it to make it go up, to make that funnel work? Just exactly how far deep would you have to make that funnel go to make the tides go back? And that's a massive experiment. You know, it would probably take a good, who knows how big of an experiment that would be to try to replicate this. But that just, you know, it makes you think how much water is really under us. It's like wherever you dig, you're going to hit water. If you dig 200 yards down, either you're going to hit water or oil. And you don't even want to get me started about what they say oil comes from. You know, maybe we should look into that. All right, man explains where crude oil comes from. He's been speaking in a different language, so I'm gonna let it play. You can read the subtitles at the bottom, but we're gonna go through the important parts. Interesting. He said there is no South Pole, and then there's more beings than humans on this earth. Interesting. Now, he's talking about how that there's a gate, a big gate that leads to various civilizations. Interesting. He's saying one of these civilizations is Gog and Magog. Now, what is Gog and Magog exactly? Let's type it in. It sounds familiar. I know it's in Revelations. Oh my goodness. Just the Wikipedia starts off going crazy. Look, it says Gog and Magog are associated with biblical and Quranic prophecies, most commonly understood as nations of evil forces that will wage war against God's people in the end times. And you know, a lot of people, you know, I know there's this movement of, you know, Satan's little season that people are saying we're in, but this is one of the wars that has to take place before we even go into 1,000-year reign. So that's something to think about. You know, I'm not saying one happened or one didn't happen. I'm just saying these are things to think about. All right, let's keep it pushing. Hit that like and subscribe button. What are you doing here? You watching these, ain't hit a like or subscribe? You haven't dropped a code word? What are you doing here? All right, let's keep it pushing, man. And for your knowledge, the petroleum, the crude oil that exists in our lands, that's their rivers from them. That's just running rivers. And it goes underground inside the earth. What? Let's read that again. Man, slow down. And for your knowledge, the petroleum that exists in our lands, that's just their rivers for them. That's just running rivers. As it runs, it goes underground inside the earth until it reaches what? Reaches our lands, Middle Earth, until it reaches Middle Earth. Petroleum isn't the remains of the animal bones and dinosaurs. Uh-oh. What is it then? And such myths that people say, or the remains of ancient plants. No! Petroleum is rivers in their lands, runs deep underground into the earth until it reaches our lands. Is that clear? So this is extremely interesting. We know what oil is because we can dig it up, you know, but the fact that he's saying those are the rivers of Gog and Magog, that's from their land. So it's basically like evil black liquid. Because when we look at evil land, that isn't necessarily Sheol, is it? Gog and Magog. Just to have a little line before line and a little precept before precept. This is where it mentions Gog and Magog, Revelation 28, and it shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth. In the four quarters of the earth, does that mean all over the earth? And Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea. That's a lot. That sounds like trillions. You know, way more than the population of Earth. So you mean to tell me that there's just going to be trillions of them? And they went out on the breadth of the earth and compassed the camps of the saints about and the beloved city, and fire came down from God out of heaven and devoured them. And the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet are, and shall be tormented day and night forever and ever. I'm not gonna lie, one verse that does stand out to me, and they went up to the breadth of the earth, I apologize if I'm saying that wrong, and compassed the camp of the saints about in the beloved city, and fire came down from God out of heaven and devoured them. You know, people do speak, like if we look at, what is it, Utah? It just looks like something went down in Utah just by all those melted looking canyons. I don't know, this could be a stretch, but this is just what comes to my mind. You guys let me know your thoughts. I'm not saying, well, it says, and they went up, it compassed the camp of the saints about and the beloved city. Interesting, the beloved city. Interesting. Utah, the beloved city. Utah. Monuments. Okay, here's a couple Utah monuments. You know, when it says that, you know, thousands of them, like the sand of the sea came and fire and brimstone came down and they made it to the beloved city. You know, it just makes you think, you know, could this possibly been a city that got melted by fire and brimstone? This is in Utah National Park. You know what I'm saying? If we go back and look, if Gog and Magog already gathered them to battle and they already been smited, fire and brimstone, could it be possible that they reached Utah and that's where it went down? And when you talk about the lake of fire, this being black rock, you know, and this theory about tides going in and out because of this vortex at the North Pole, you know, how crazy would it be if there's just some type of gas flame emitting from this water? Like, because we do see, you know, water catch on fire from gas leaks. I believe it happens. Hey, I'm just saying, you know, it can show how fire can go on top of water. So, hey, I don't know if it's an actual lake, the entire lake has to be on fire, or if it's like, this testifies as it being a lake because it's on top of water. It's not a big body of water that's on fire. I don't know, but it is a lake of fire if you ask me. Who really knows what type of activity is going on right below there? And they're saying this is a mountain that's protruding into the heavens. We don't know what type of activity. It's some type of activity because look at how it's pulling the entire atmosphere in. You know, the entire ionosphere. Imagine how electrically charged it's getting, siphoning all that ether down there, you know? Could it be a chopped tree of life? You know, this might have been a tree at one point. That would be insane. Damn. A tree protruding all the way out. Yes, let me just pause it. A tree protruding all the way out. This looks like the base, you know, and it kind of does have like a little slant. You know, what if that mug came all the way out, like out there? Man, everybody could see that in like a 4,000-5,000 mile radius. You could see that tree. Probably not that far, but you could definitely see it. So, yeah, guys, drop your thoughts in the comments below. You know, these are just theories, you know, not necessarily needed for salvation, you know, but it definitely brings a paradigm to a full circle looking into a lot of this. But as always, I want to hear your guys' thoughts below. I just felt like we had to dive a little bit deeper into this as a collective, hear everyone's thoughts about it, you know. I'll talk to anybody else about it, they'll be like, what? You know, so it's like, this is definitely unlocking levels into the paradigm. You know, this dude's saying beyond the ice wall, that's the land of Gog and Magog out there. You know, so that is absolutely insane. What really is that oil made out of? What is it really used for? Because, I mean, look at it. This is an example of oil. It's just black. I don't think anything could live in that. Can anything live in crude oil? Oh, okay. So it says, yes, microorganisms like bacteria can live and consume crude oil. I wonder what those microorganisms look like zoomed up close. You know, and it also talks about fire and brimstone. It makes you wonder, could this be one of the actual buildings that was melted? Let's take a closer look.
When you first enter Chaco Canyon, one of the first landmarks you see is Fajada Butte. This butte sticks out prominently compared to the rest of the landscape and will almost force your attention upon it as you drive in. At the top of this butte exist 3 rock slabs, lined up right next to each other. Behind these slabs of rocks is a spiral petroglyph. On June 21st, the day of the summer solstice, around 11 o'clock a.m., a ray of sunlight illuminates the top of this spiral. Within about 15 minutes of it appearing, the ray of light will have slowly moved down the center of the petroglyph, piercing the center and marking the final day of the sun's journey north. When you first enter Chaco Canyon.
Interesting, because if this was a palace, it's old enough to have petroglyphs on it after the fire and brimstone happened.
Anybody in the world that ever lost anything, they call me. So I got a call from a lady in Berkeley, California. And she said, my daughter was playing a harp in a Christmas musical. On the 3rd night, somebody went in the theater and stole that harp. Now this harp is invaluable. You couldn't put a price on it. It was one of 3 made from the same bird's eye maple tree by the master harp maker in the United States. You know, it's really, you just could never replace that. She said it's been 2.5 months and the police have now given up on it. They just said, well, somebody's destroyed the harp because it's so unique they couldn't hock it. So would you see if you can douse for it? And so when I was talking to her, I just asked my pendulum, is that harp still in that area? And it told me yes. And I said, okay, if you send me a picture of the harp and a street map of Oakland and Berkeley. She lives in Berkeley, but the harp was stolen from a Masonic or York Rite temple just over in Oakland. And I said, send me a picture of the harp and of a street map of Oakland and Berkeley. So next day, FedEx came up my driveway. There's a big old street map. I don't know, you know, there's only a few million streets in Oakland and Berkeley. And so I laid this map out on a big dining room table. And I had the picture of I said, is this harp in the area represented by this map? And it said, yes. Now, if you want to douse, that's a good douse.
What is he doing? Is he hitting the Oshawa board to figure this out? I must have missed that part.
In question, if I would have said, is this harp on this map? No, it's not on that map. It's in the area represented by the map. Very important. If you, most of this stuff you do, you have to really be clear on what you're asking for. But anyway, it told me yes, it was. And so I got a yardstick and I started this end of the table, this end of the map, and I said, okay, I'm going to slowly bring this yardstick across this map. When the leading edge of the yardstick gets over the intersection nearest the harp, I want you to give me an affirmative. So I just slowly came across there. Pretty soon my pendulum said, here. I drew a line down. Then I got the top of the line, and again I said, when the leading front edge of this yardstick gets over the intersection nearest the harp, let me know. I came on down, and pretty soon it said here, I drew a line there. It was just an X, and it just happened to be right in the middle of the intersection. So I just sort of mentally placed myself in that intersection. I said, is that harp up this street? He said, no.
What is he, astro projecting, talking to somebody?
I turned, I said, the harp up this street? It said, yes. I said, is it on the left side? No. On the right side? Yes. See, with dowsing, you just ask yes or no. You know, any question be answered yes or no, you can just about find out anything. I said, okay, it's on the right side of the street. I said, I'm going to start counting houses. This corner house is number 1, the next house is number 2, and on up like that. I said, can we do that? And he told me yes. I said, okay, is that harp in house number 1? He said, yes. I thought, oh, come on, you know, it sounded too easy. And anyway, you know, when you go with the first answer you get when you're dowsing. Because if you say, oh, I'm not sure, you know, if you have a preconceived notion that it might be up there, your subconscious tries to please you and it'll tell you anything that thinks you want to know. This story was in the Smithsonian magazine, actually. And it's been on national television a couple of times. So I called her and I said, look, I'm not 100%, you know, I'm not 100% on everything I douse. But I think your harp is in this house, and I told her the intersection and which corner and all that. And I said, I don't know how you're going to get it because you just can't, you know, break in. And she said, well, I think of something. So what she thought about, she had called this detective that had been working on the case and said, hey, somebody seen my harp being carried into this house from a pickup truck. And the detective said, okay, you get a sworn affidavit from that person, we'll go check it out. You know, well, I'm in Fayetteville, Arkansas, and this is in Berkeley, California. So what she done, she had a picture of this harp enlarged. She made a poster. She made 6 posters out of all the blocks and all the houses in Oakland and Berkeley. She made 6 posters. It said, reward. This harp was stolen December 17th and was last seen in this neighborhood. Now, like this is the house here, she put 1 poster on that corner of the block, 1 on that corner of the block, and 4 right here facing the house. So that afternoon, she got a phone call from this guy, and he was really scared, and he said, a friend of mine bought a harp, but we didn't know it was stolen. You know, he knew we had him pegged because these 4 posters was right there facing his house. And she started asking him, well, what's your name and where do you live? And she started really insisting. He just hung up. And she called me. She said, Harold, this guy hung up. You know, he's got my harp. I'm afraid he's going to destroy it. What can we do? I said, well, I don't know. Maybe I can connect with him. And you can do this. You know, you can really reach out and touch someone if you want to.
Hold on. So, what is he doing? Is he speaking telepathically? He's astral projection. Now he's talking about he touching people. What? I'm lost.
But what I did, I just sat, and the connection was, I have to have a connection. And the harp, you know, the lady that owned the harp, and the guy that's got the harp. So I could get to him that way. And I just sent him a message. Don't destroy the harp. Just get it back to the lady. Get it back to the lady. And sure enough, he called again the next afternoon. She done the same thing again. And she said, you know, I'm afraid he's... I said, well, what are you doing? I mean, how come he's hanging up? She says, well, all I'm doing is asking him what his name was and where he lives. I said, hey, you know, he stole your harp. He's not going to tell you that, you know. So I just zeroed on this guy again, really, really tried to get him to call her again.
Telepathic. That's what I'm thinking. He went telepathic.
And he said, look, this is the last time I'm going to call, and I want to get the harp back to you, and I don't want any cops involved. If I, you know, she said, okay, there's a Safeway store. She told him it's only 2 blocks from this house here. She said, we'll be there at 3 o'clock this afternoon with the reward money, and you be there with the harp. He said, okay, but if I see a cop within 10 blocks of that place, forget it. He said, you'll never see me or the harp again. So they pulled up there at 3 o'clock, and this guy didn't show up, and didn't show up, but they were about to give up about 3:30. Here come a small tyke, some small kid bringing the harp down to that car. Took the reward money and just took off with it. But the thing about it is, that's power of thought. And everybody in this room can do that. Everybody. Everything I talk about, you can do it. I don't have any special talents. I mean, it's not me doing any of this work. I'm just channeling this energy. I'm just channeling, it's my angels and my helpers and all that. Anybody in the world that ever lost anything, they call me.
Oh, so that's how he did it. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We were talking about on Dark Waters 9 being telepathic. That sounds exactly like what he was doing.
They've been hiding this from you. The Great Sphinx of Giza isn't just a statue guarding the pyramids. It may be the key to an entire underground city. Ancient texts hint at this secret. They speak of hidden chambers beneath the lion, described as the heart of our knowledge. And recently discovered papyrus scrolls go even further. They say the Sphinx was built as an entrance to a lost civilization known as the Osirians. The Osirians were said to be far more advanced than the Egyptians, masters of engineering, keepers of powerful technology, and builders of a vast city hidden beneath the sands. But when their empire vanished, their city was sealed, and the true purpose of the Sphinx was disguised, to protect their wisdom from falling into the wrong hands. This could explain why ground-penetrating radar has detected massive anomalies beneath the Sphinx, perfect geometric shapes, as if chambers still lie hidden below, and yet access remains restricted. Excavations mysteriously shut down, authorities refusing to reveal what's under there. So ask yourself, was the Sphinx really just a monument, or a doorway to a buried city, holding secrets that could rewrite human history? They've been hiding this from you. The Great Sphinx...
That is definitely an interesting theory, but if we look at the top of the Sphinx, it looks like there's some type of a door latch, like you can go inside it.
You know, I'm going to say something that have been said before anywhere. I traveled to a place called Ukunda. It's on the coast. They have signs outside of everybody's compound. They have these gates. You can't get through the gate unless security allows you through the gate. And they have these electric charged fences that if you touch it, it's going to shock you. One of the signs that I saw, but it was a warning about being close to the water. I asked security guy, I say, what is this about? He says, after a certain time, do not go near the water. They will come out and take you. Who? Like who? There's a place called Seychelles Island. On the Seychelles Islands, at every resort, after a certain time, they close and shut off all access to the water. They said sirens will take you. He said, if a horny guy comes here at night, the sirens will trick him. I said, mermaids? They said, not like mermaids in America. They lie to you. If they are not beautiful, and most of them are men.
That's a way to go. Like, a transformer mermaid pulled me into the water. Don't tell nobody. Like,
if the transformer mermaid snatched you, you was just too horny.
Hey!
You know, I'm going to say something that have been said before anywhere.
What island was that? I'm never going to that island. Like I be traveling, but hey, that's one spot I'm definitely not going.
There is a reason half of the moon was hidden from humanity for all of history.
You mean it's not stuck on the other side of the firmament?
The moon rotates at the exact speed it orbits Earth, the same face, every night, a perfect lock. No other major moon in the solar system does this with such precision. Scientists call it coincidence. But the chances of this happening the way it does are almost impossible. And here's the part no one talks about. When we finally photographed the far side in 1959, what we saw did not match the smooth story NASA tells today. There were structures, shadows forming straight lines, tower shapes rising from crater floors, geometric patterns spread across the terrain, angles that looked engineered, not natural. Astronomers tried to explain them away, lighting, camera errors, optical illusions. But the anomalies kept showing up. In 2019, China's Chang'e 4 rover landed on the far side. Their images revealed even more strange formations, block-like shapes, symmetrical ridges, a region with electromagnetic disturbances stronger than anything on the near side. NASA avoids that region. Every lunar mission steers around it. Even modern probes are restricted from orbiting too close. Why? Why are multiple countries quietly mapping a location that the public never gets to see? Why is the most hidden part of the moon also the most monitored? There is a reason half of the moon was hidden from humanity.
You would think that it would be televised, something like that extraordinary. Oh, we're going to the moon and we're knocking off certain sections. We're putting our flagpole in different locations of the moon. You think that Chinese and, different countries would televise that, right? Can you imagine how well things would go now if they actually went to the moon and televised it? Man, they would be under a microscope.
What if I told you we may also have been lied to about why there are tides? And I'm sure you're probably thinking there's no possible reason that there'd ever be justification to lie about why the tidal currents occur. but after watching this video, I can guarantee it will start making sense. Now, according to the official academia, including McGraw-Hill, the textbooks we all studied from in school, the way the tide works, McGraw-Hill, by the way, is owned by Pergamon Press, which is called Satan's Throne in a biblical translation, and it's owned by Robert Maxwell, which is Ghislaine Maxwell's father, but we'll save that for another video. According to the official story, tides are caused by the moon's gravitational pull. Now, despite the moon having many phases, the tides are entirely consistent. Every day, there are tides coming in and out. Even if the moon is not out, if it's a full moon, or if it's a sliver toenail moon, doesn't affect, the tides are tiding no matter what. But if the moon's gravitational field is what causes tides, then how come in the Mediterranean Sea, the Black Sea, the Caspian Sea, and other massive lakes, like the Great Lakes, there are no tides? You'd think such a massive ocean would have tides, significant, similar to the big oceans. But that's not the case. Why? This is where it gets a little bit shocking. According to ancient civilizations who all believed the Earth to be quite a different shape than what NASA claims it is, there is said to be at the North Pole, which we can't go to, a gigantic mountain called Mount Meru, also known as Black Rock. It is a giant magnetic mountain, apparently. And there's said to be 4 rivers coming out of it. Notice also the 4 quadrants here. You have the Microsoft logo, which is also 4 quadrants. We have many corporate logos depicting 4 quadrants, perhaps in reference to this. We know they like to hide things in plain sight. But what they believed is that there is a vortex energy field at the center of the known Earth in their mind, which pulls the water in and pushes it out, pumping like a heartbeat, using electromagnetism, and the salinity in the ocean, of course, is highly conductive. And what adds credence to this, some of the roughest oceans in the world are closest to the North Pole, where the source of this pulling and pushing force would be, like the Bering Sea, which is the most violent sea there is. Lastly, I will say, Nikola Tesla believed gravity to be a shaky theory at best, and he believed the world ran on electromagnetism and relativity, not gravity.
Wow, mind blown. You know, I remember theorizing that that black rock in the middle, that mountain, could be Mount Zion. How crazy would that be? Like the literal Mount Zion that was mentioned in the Bible. There's a couple references we may have to dive down into to connect the similarities, but that's for another video. Now looking at this, thinking that it could be some type of giant drainage pump that comes back out and just keeps expanding, that would also explain why there's so many waves as well. Not only does that explain tides, it explains waves as well. And this is strictly for entertainment purposes only. Do your own research on everything. Don't believe everything you hear or see. But you definitely gotta admit, if you think they've been lying to us about a lot of stuff, you can definitely add this to the list. Can Teslas actually see supernatural beings?
His car showing him beings in other dimensions. Check this out,
Through
y'all.
the dark woods and everything, right?
So he's on a
About to be
trail
sunset.
in the
Spooky
woods.
thing though. My truck is saying that there's people around me.
Why
There's no
would
people
that
around me. Well, my
be the
truck
case?
says
There are a lot of beings trying
My
to get in
truck
this
says-
car.
people. Watch. If I slow down, they'll
It's
catch up.
just
See?
so
Right next to my-
strange.
There's no one here.
So theory one is that, like, maybe, you know, since he's in a wooded area in North America, that maybe some Native Americans passed away in those woods, and that's what the car is detecting, ghosts, spirits. Or theory two is that this car can detect beings in other dimensions that we can't see with the human eye, but that are around us, and this car is able to detect it. Or theory three, this is just a glitch in this car's programming, and there's nothing really around them. Let me know what you think in the comments. As always, thank you for watching. Stay weird.
Or the sensors could be bad. But it is kind of eerie that they're popping up so randomly. I would like to see this work on a regular street as well. See if anything comes up or not.
You see, down here in Louisiana, folks think witches are, them old ladies in the woods with candles and bad attitudes. But nah. The real witches, the real ones, the rich folks hire, they sit in boardrooms, not bayous, okay? See, those elite types, the politicians, the billionaires, the power brokers, they don't get their hands dirty. They hire people who know how to move energy. People who understand timing, symbols, influence, curses, blessings, all that behind the scenes work. They call them consultants these days, or advisors. But what they really are modern day witches. These people pick the dates for big announcements. They run rituals disguised as ceremonies. They set the symbols, the colors, the numbers, and the public don't even catch it. The elites ain't steering no cauldrons. They steering narratives. And the witches they hire, they're the ones whispering. Drop it tonight. Don't say that tomorrow. Move this before the moon shifts. And bro, they listen. Down here, we got moth spirits and old stories. Up there, they got money, ego, and witches on payroll. Two different worlds, but all the same magic.
Lord, I pray that no type of rituals, candlelight ceremonies that choose to do ill will against any of your people do no harm against them, and you protect them with the light, Father God. I say these things in Jesus' name, Yahushua Mashiach's name. Amen. If you thought we weren't going to do another excellent specimen of the day, think again. Oh man, you guys see it. No description for this. I almost want to say tourmaline, maybe? But man, it's like a sky ice brick with a sword protruding through it. If I had to name this specimen, I would call it Sky Sword. What would you guys name it? The Eiffel Tower has more history than the books tell you.
They don't want you to know this. Before the last ice age, more than 12,000 years ago, there may have been an advanced civilization, one more advanced than us in ways we can barely imagine, not in cell phones or computers, but in their understanding of the cosmos, consciousness, and energy itself. They followed the ancient law of as above, so below, and they built monuments to reflect the stars. The pyramids of Giza, perfectly aligned with Orion's belt. But it's not just Egypt. Travel across the ocean to Mexico, and the temples of Teotihuacan, the temple of the sun, the moon, and Quetzalcoatl match the same stars. Two cultures, separated by thousands of miles, building the same cosmic blueprint. How is that possible? This isn't just coincidence. This points to a lost civilization, a mother culture that existed before the Ice Age, and maybe even before that. A global network of builders, connecting Earth with the heavens, and leaving behind clues that history refuses to explain. So ask yourself, what if history is wrong? What if multiple civilizations rose and fell long before us, and we are only the latest chapter in a story far older than we've been told?
I felt that. Like they were far along in technology, not in the sense of smartphones and TVs, you know, but in other sense. Interesting.
This has been concealed for centuries. The real purpose of the Eiffel Tower is something far beyond what you've been told. Most people believe it's nothing more than a symbol of Parisian culture or a product of the industrial era. The truth? The Eiffel Tower was designed as a massive antenna, an instrument for wireless electricity experiments, and its secrets could have revolutionized the world. The year was 1889, and the tower was unveiled at the Paris World's Fair, touted as a temporary exhibit. But here's where it gets strange. The true intent behind this engineering marvel was hidden in plain sight. Nikola Tesla visited Paris in the 1880s. During his stay, he met with Gustave Eiffel and shared his groundbreaking vision for a world powered by free, wireless energy. Tesla had already proven with his Wardenclyffe Tower that electricity could be transmitted wirelessly across vast distances. Eiffel, utterly fascinated by Kessler's revolutionary ideas, took these principles and incorporated them into the design of the Eiffel Tower. This was not just about aesthetics. This was about power, real power. During the tower's construction, strange phenomena were reported. Electromagnetic anomalies, unexplained lights, and strange sparks were seen surrounding the tower. Locals spoke of nighttime experiments, and some even claimed to have witnessed orbs of light dancing around the structure. Why hasn't this been exposed? This has been concealed for centuries.
There's three major theories when it comes to the Eiffel Tower. The first one is a giant antenna. Who are they trying to contact? People beyond the ice wall. And it makes you think, what's under the Eiffel Tower that they really don't talk too much about? They could have a whole observatory where, you know, they're trying to, you know, with the NASA TVs that they're trying to communicate with someone. That would be crazy. What's under the Eiffel Tower? Another one is it was a giant mooring station for airships back in the day. Like, the airships will fly on top of the Eiffel Tower, it will dock, and then it'll get charged up with etheric energy and then take off, do their business. Same thing like the Empire State Building. You know, those are just a couple theories what they say about the Eiffel Tower.
Woo! Woo! What they did behind your back, Chosen. Woo! Woo! They wanted you. They did you so wrong, Chosen. They done set up many nights and thought about what they did. And they said to themselves, they were shaking, having cold sweats. They saying, I don't want this person to ever find this out. It will destroy my reputation. They were shaking in cold sweats. But instead of turning to God, Chosen, they turned to darkness. And when they sat in that cold sweat, they said to themselves, I want you dead. So they said, ooh, man, if this person ever find this out, good God, my whole rep, I'm done. I'm done. Because the person is too reputable. The person is too respected. If this person say what I did, then they gonna believe it because it's coming from the mouth of God. And so they sat in their cold sweat, and instead of turning to God, they turned to wickedness, and they said they wanted you dead because you potentially held a truth that could destroy them. Boy, they held you down for a while. It was a lot of them too. And they should be a damn shame of themselves. Some of the things they knew that people had planned for you, some of the things that people did behind your back, it's some people knew about it and they should be a damn shame of themselves.
I don't see how y'all allow people to stay around y'all that are jealous of y'all, people who don't like y'all deep down inside. They be doing little snake stuff and y'all be wanting to see the benefit of the doubt for people. No. The minute that you get to acting a little jealous, the minute that my success makes you anger, me being happy makes you angry, you get to making faces like, whenever I say something good, and, oh, hell no, oh no. Go ahead, get on. I don't got time for all that. You keep those type of people around, at some point, you are going to start to believe the things that they saying. And we can't have that for you because you're great. You're blessed. You're beautiful. You can do a lot and they do less. Okay? Remember that. Hashtag. Keep them people away from you. Most importantly, please do not let them come over your house because I promise they will try to put bad energy in your house. I remember I had a friend who was always jealous of me throughout our childhood. And I invited them to my house. And the first thing they did was trying to crack jokes on it and all that. Mind you, I was living great. I was living blessed and all that. All my places. And they would come over and try to make little funny jokes about where I stay. Nope. Immediately. Blocked. Unfriended. Don't talk to them. Don't deal with them. I don't tell them. They don't know nothing about me. And that's the same way y'all need to do that. Starve that energy. We don't have time for that. I don't see how y'all allow people to stay around y'all that are.
You know, I agree with that 100%, man. And a lot of times it be your own family, high school friends, you know, it's people just talking slick behind your back. You're not really your friends if you think about it. You know, you almost better being to yourself and to your thoughts. Am I right or am I wrong? You guys tell me if you experience this. But I agree with her, you know, cut them off. You know, you don't want that negative energy swirling, especially in your house too. Oh man, that's deep. You know, a lot of times it'll be complete strangers that'll have your back more than, you know, your family or friends ever would. That's the crazy part. You know, I can count the people I truly mess with on one hand, to be honest with you. Keep your circles tight. Forgive, but definitely don't forget. Alright guys, this one appears to be in a different language, but it appears to be some UFO footage, so let's take a closer look. You know, when you see this old time footage, these old UFO footages, it makes you wonder how real it is before they had AI. It almost is like that it's more authentic. Then it hits warp speed on us.
What do you mean this doll turns to face you when you're going in the house or leaving the house? What do you even mean? This is really scary. And also, the comment that she put in the comment section about like what happened after, I'm going to show you after. We'll watch the video first.
I bought her on Amazon 2 nights in a row. She slowly turned around to look at me as I walked outside, walking to my car. And when I got inside of my car, she would turn back around. So I wanted to play this video, and as you can see, it is windy out right now. Not too windy, but windy. And you can see she's slowly starting to turn around. Which on the first 2 nights there was no wind. It was not windy at all. But if you can see right here, you see how she's turning around? Okay, that's normal because of the wind. But hold up, look at her. She's turning back around. Why are you stopping right there to look at me? I don't play that. It's time for her to go. See if
it was at this moment I would have did a Barry Bonds home run.
Think, okay, she's gonna turn back around? No. She turns and she continues to look at me. No, I'm trying to get myself in the house at this point. Yeah, it's time for her to go. Anybody want her?
This was the update in the comments. Look, my husband took the doll down and put it in his car. Then about an hour or so later, he took the doll out and hung it over the garage because he feels like it's the wind and he's trying to prove a point. Well, he woke up early this morning, sick, vomiting, nonstop. He is currently in bed, not able to keep anything down. I started my return with Amazon, but I'm scared to take her down. I'm going to order sage for the house. Dude, if he got like sick afterwards, that is like, that.
Sage, you don't need no sage. You need an exorcism. You need some holy water spread out throughout that house. Something. Man, that's all we got for today's video. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button and drop the code word in the comments. The code word for today is Friday the 13th. Go ahead and drop Friday the 13th in the comments below, man. Jason might not be a bad guy, man. I might have to watch that movie for the first time tonight, man. I'm thinking some fried fish. And, yeah, I don't know where I'm going to get it, but I'm going to get me some fried fish and watch some Friday the 13th tonight. And it sounds like a good night, y'all. But anyways, this is your boy with more disturbing, mysterious footage from around the world that may keep you up all night and change your reality. I'm Jet Ski Chuck. Till next time.